let me say that there cannot be a more gratifying place to be and to talk about progress being made, especially if the topic of discussion and the whole day seminar is going to be Gift City and Aspiration of Modern India. Even as early as 2007, Honorable Prime Minister, then as Chief Minister of the state, had conceptualized Gift City, and in the very name, it was going to be a global city for financial and for technological purposes. So if it is financial and technological as envisaged even in 2007, we now see how technology is driving the financial world and how financial world stands to benefit, and we are seeing the benefits already accruing, stands to benefit from adopting technology, and technology itself is rapidly moving from one milestone to another. So to catch up with technology and to infuse the technological advantage into finance, Gift City actually gives us the wonderful threshold. You go out of India taking funds or coming into India with the funds for accessing the entire Indian market, or to go out to capture the whole world market. Gift is ideally designed, located, and also endowed with to be that threshold which can open up India's markets to financial world outside and give advantage to the Indian entrepreneurs to access the global funds which are available all over the world. And therefore, for this wonderful dream, vision that was seeded in 2007, till 2019, there were quite a few hurdles to cross over. But since after 2019, because the Act was passed, empowering the Gift Cities IFSA, the regulator, the unified regulator, who actually is at the heart of Gift City. So much before I go into telling the few things that I have in my mind about how for an aspiration which India has set for itself, that we should become a developed country by 2047, I just want to thank the Gift Cities Authority for having called me here. Rajaraman, who's come in here as the new unified regulator, the Gift City itself, both Shri Hasmukh Bayadia and also Shri Tapan Ray. And more importantly, I'm very glad that the Finance Minister, Gujarat, who's very energetic, and I can see him working with me in the GST Council, and also the way in which he's taken up pioneering steps to make sure evasion is controlled in GST. Kanubai Desai, who's here, I'm very grateful for his time. And to all those in the audience who are here to hear and also to contribute as to what a 21st century global financial center can contribute both to India, which is the engine of the global growth today, and to the rest of the world, is really worrying authorities. But even with that said, there was an interesting observation made yesterday before the Honorable Prime Minister, that all financial hubs, or let us say the special economic zones for financial purposes set up over the centuries across the world, looked at capital as the first concern, investment, interest, and also interest as in your capital aspect dominated most of these financial special economic zones wherever, Hong Kong, Singapore, and many other countries, US, Germany, London. So most of these financial hubs, the City of London, for instance, looked at money, investable money, money coming, money going out, and so on. That is going to be the feature. But it is the distinction of Gift City, the IFSA, And this observation was made before the Prime Minister yesterday. Distinction, unique distinction, that it has looked at finance together with technology. That is the feature of 21st century, whether it was from the point of view of COVID, which is a never before seen like pandemic, or whether you're looking at financial services, not just from the point of view of inclusion, but from the point of efficiencies. The efficiencies that you can draw from it, greater speed with which transactions can happen, cross-border facilitation, tokenization. All this is possible only when you're looking at technology infusion into financial activities. Even at the time of conceptualizing GIFT City, the Honorable Prime Minister has had the vision that without fusing technology and finance, the newly created International Financial Services Center is not going to be really coming out with full energy. And that's where this fusion today gives a lead advantage. And that lead advantage is coming when India is growing fastest in the world, coming at a time when India's capacities in technology, taking the standard example of UPI, even in the G20, the recognition that India, for having taken UPI both with scale and speed, that today the common people of India are benefiting by directly having accounts in banks, directly receiving funds into their banks, and even if there were zero balance, even in 2014, today have together more than 2.3 lakh crores in their account balance. The second story, which is worth remembering, 21st century, we're talking about GIFT. When GIFT City IFSCA can become the threshold for India, is the retail participation in stock markets in India. At a time when global funds were also being received, when investments were happening through mutual funds, feature of India in the last 20-30 years, investors, small, it convenient to directly get onto the stock markets and participate. And this happened during the COVID year. And post that, that momentum is also keeping up. So our Indian stock markets were actually benefiting from the retail investor cushion which was available for them, that they could actually ward off all the fluctuations which were happening in the flow of funds globally. Our stock markets did not really have too much of a volatile going up and down because of the comfort Indian retailers have given, Indian retail investors have given our stock markets. So the point that I want to drive here is, at a time when 21st century financial centers have different problems, because of the local market conditions, local economy conditions, our stock markets have survived and flourished. The numbers that we see every day on our television screens tell you where is it hitting tomorrow, where it is likely to reach tomorrow. These are comforts which are coming because of stable policy, macroeconomic strength of India, and with these, a center like IFSC, which has the advantage of being a 21st century global threshold, which has attracted so many. Rajaraman read a list of who are here today, what are the kind of activities which are happening. I'm not sure I should read it, but for those of you all who missed out, I'll just list out. Currently, in the IFSC, 3 exchanges, including International Bullion Exchange. There are 25 banks operating within the IFSC, of which 9 are foreign banks. IFSC also has attracted 26 aircraft lessors who have collectively leased out 136 assets. Hasmukhbhai rightly mentioned, if Ireland can do it of the globe, For all those aircraft companies which are looking at airlines who do the business with their aircrafts towards Southeast Asia, towards South Asia, towards the Middle East, there cannot be a better place to locate themselves than in India, in the gift city. There are 80 fund managers who have established 89 schemes and 29 insurance entities, including 8 insurance and reinsurance firms. 8 ship leasing entities have commenced operations here. Yesterday, again, I'm not sure if Ajay Singh Ji is present in this audience, before the Prime Minister, very clearly, the global situation on shortages of containers, shortages of shipping lines, and definitely a shortage of India manufacturing shipping lines is obviously felt. Have global trade which is very high. Don't we need to be also Atmanirbhar on producing ships? And of course, being a capital intensive activity, we need a lot of investors. It is a high risk venture. It requires a lot of money, and the government of India has taken a very clear position, shipbuilding activities in India, and towards that, therefore holding leasing entities here in Gift City, we'll be able to access global finance for it easily and use the building capacities of our yards, shipping yards, to make India a good manufacturing hub for shipping lines. 50 professional service providers, consulting firms, law firms, and chartered accountancy firms are all here. 40 fintech entities are also in the IFSC. In 2020, the number of entities registered in the IFSCA were only 129. But through the COVID years and immediately after that as well, we have grown today. Today, I have the last data of October 2023. We have 580 entities already in the IFSCA. More than 78 fund management facilities have registered, and 76 fund AIFs, alternative investment funds, are also here. And the total targeted corpus is $20 billion US. Indian Oil Corporation setting up their first global corporate treasury center has been mentioned by Rajaraman. And one of the major milestones which I want to highlight for an aspirational India, the NSE IFSC SGX Connect, which was launched in July 2022, is making rapid progress. After the transition period, all US dollar denominated Nifty derivatives and contracts of them are being exclusively traded in the NSE IFSC. And again, based on October 2023 figures, the derivative contracts on the NSE International Exchange was $3.02 billion US. The much awaited matter of direct listing of stocks and GIFT IFSC was announced earlier. We are going through the process in a very systematic manner, and I'm confident that it will happen at the earliest. With that, Indian companies should be able to access global funds easily, being listed in India. We have, several of us have mentioned that by 2047, India should reach a $30 trillion economy size. Fintech adoption in this country is at the highest. The rate is about 80%, 87%, as against global 64% only. So the adoption rate shows that with the rapidity with which technology is going to influence India's financial inclusion and also financial empowerment. And that is why I think Gift City should be the place for finance and technology related entrepreneurs. We aim to build here a diverse fintech laboratory for the world and address several needs. I'll list three of them. India fintech firms wanting to go global should be here. Foreign fintech firms who want to come to gift IFSC naturally will have to be here. Indian fintech firms aiming to grow their Indian business or wanting to work on regulatory sandbox through which they can have a proof of concept should be here. So you've got three diverse areas, all of whom can benefit by being present here. One of the things which I'd like to highlight in this context, because we're talking about aspirational India, looking at GIFT City as its threshold, is a clear thought which Honorable Prime Minister has been expressing. He expressed it even yesterday. We need to have a greater understanding of how we can handle the carbon and green related issues, green financing matters. We need to have a platform through which credits can be sold and bought. In fact, Honorable Prime Minister very clearly conveyed, we shouldn't approach it with a cynical or negative line saying carbon credits. All of us are in principle against emission of carbon. But at the same time, all of us are on the agreeing side when we talk that the world should be a lot more greener. So, Prime Minister of India's suggestion was that there should be a platform where green credits can be traded, and that platform should be located in IFSC, and I would think the authorities here should work on getting a platform ready so that green credits can be sold for people who are planting good lot of trees. Miyawaki forests are coming up all over the country. Some credits for that, and any other practices that you do in afforestation or activities which are full of the green certification, meaning using renewable energy, solid waste management, and so on, should be able to first come here to say, I have credits which I wouldn't want to sit idle, let it be traded. This place should be the place for getting those credits bought and sold. It is important to note here that the G20 had agreed on fulfilling the nationally determined, and GIFT City in that way can serve this purpose, because it is estimated that India has a funding gap. This is very critical for all of you all to recognize. India has a funding gap of $10.1 trillion to meet its net zero commitment, which has been given as of 2070. So the commitment will have to be fulfilled by 2070, and for that we need about $10.1 trillion. And unless we have a recognition of this problem in our hand, we wouldn't be able to raise the money for it. The blended finance and de-risking mechanisms are something on which GIFT City is working. Presently, a total of $52.7 billion valued in such securities is listed on the IFSC exchange, including $10.18 billion in green bonds, social bonds, sustainable bonds, and sustainability linked bonds. So newer areas such as longevity finance. So the longevity finance are currently being discussed and explored by the GIFT authorities, which can open up opportunities in wealth management, insurance, pension, silver entrepreneurship, and for medical tourism as well. The scope, therefore, is wide. Stakeholders can choose their option and get themselves activated so that even as the policy framework is being set up, the template for regulation is being done, and here they can always contribute. But here I like to say, most often, the regulatory guidance which IFSCA gives us, most often, I repeat, most often is done on self-regulatory principles. It's not as if it's coming up with a rule, binding you to it, and you may have difficulties, are done with good lot of stakeholder consultation, and post that it is only on a self-regulatory basis, but newer areas of opportunities are also very clearly before us. I've given an indication on some of them. Prevailing global challenges in fintech related areas therefore need climate action, integration of the global south, again a point which was discussed before the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday, that India can be that bridge between developed Western world and with the global south. If we are the bridge, the gateway is here in Gift City. Digital public infrastructure is a challenge for many countries. India is a pioneer and a leader in that. Responsible AI and pro-innovation regulations. So I would like to conclude by saying the vision of Honorable Prime Minister for 2047 for India to become a developed country is a bold one. But a bold one because he's confident and sure that India is rising on its strengths. India are wanting to be entrepreneurs, wanting to be innovative, and together they can contribute to make India a developed country. And in that, the biggest requirement is for all of us to boldly move forward with a stable and visionary leader before us leading the way. And for us to be bold and moving forward, we should imagine that it is the dream of all of us Indians that this country cannot be lagging with those socialist principles which has held us back for last 70 years. Here we have a clear-headed leader who's moving boldly, and IFSC should shoulder that responsibility of being the gateway to the world, and for the world be the gateway which wants to come into India. So all the very best, and Finance Ministry's cooperation is always with Government of Gujarat and also with the IFSA to build this as a classic 21st century, technology infused, manpower strengthened, and a visionary financial hub. We should work together on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.